Have you done any badges for refereeing and like that? No,
I haven't, mate. I haven't. But it's, look, clearly there's obviously going to be a review of exactly what's gone on and everything else before the PGMOL make a call. I can't see how David Coote finds a way back from this, but there you go. It is what it is, and we'll discuss that. And it begs a few questions, Ali, I think, about referees. Look, they're only human. They're going to have an opinion on people, and on football, and on games, and on players that they like, players they hate, players they don't like. Yep. They're going to have that. And we've often asked that question about refs, haven't we? About we want to mic them up and we want to hear from them after a match, why they made this call, why they. Well, if we want to know more, if we want to hear more from referees, then we're gonna hear more from referees in other ways as well, I think, and more will be revealed from them. So look, it's an interesting scenario.
You make a fair point. I mean, we are kidding ourselves on. You know, that interview or that bit of video aside, we're kidding ourselves on if the majority of them don't have a team to support. They don't have a view on a game that they referee. They don't have a view on other games that they watch. Opinions
of the games.
Correct.
They're going to have all of those things.
Of course they are.
For instance, here's one. Do you think fans would be offended if after a game, because when managers are asked sometimes, and we've heard it many times, Ali, over the years, listen, mate, you've been a manager. You've probably even said it without realising it. You've probably said, I don't feel we got a decision today. All the big decisions went to them, not us. You might have said it. You might not have.
I take your point.
Right. And in that sort of moment, it must be very, very difficult for these referees, if they were mic'd up about certain things, to not turn around and say, well, the reason why I gave that penalty was X, and actually today I didn't think Everton played very well. I thought Southampton were the better team, and they deserve their win as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Now, if a referee said that after a game, would that be totally out of order, or is he only doing what everyone else in the game does?
Well, it wouldn't be totally out of order, because all he would be given would be his opinion on the game, which everybody else would have one anyway, right?
Correct.
So all you're doing is listening to another opinion.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people wouldn't agree with that opinion the same way a lot of people wouldn't agree with one or two of the decisions that he would make during that game.
Yes.
But that's natural.
Does it have to question his integrity if a referee has an opinion on the game?
It shouldn't question his integrity, because he'll have an opinion on the game. But, well, let's put it this way. If I'm doing Rangers versus Olympiacos, right, I think the vast majority of the nation would know that clearly I would want Rangers to win the game. But that in no way, shape or form should blinker my opinion on the game. And hopefully it doesn't. A lot of people would, I don't doubt, a lot of people would say it would. But it's my job to sit there and give an honest analysis of the game and tackles and incidents and decisions within that game.
All sorts of, this is throwing up all sorts of other questions now. I mean, should the public know, should football fans know what team a referee supports or supported? Is that important?
I don't think it's important. I don't think,
because we're talking about integrity.
Correct.
Here.
I mean, well, let's take it a step further. Let's take it north of the border, right?
Yeah.
You would suggest that there will be numerous officials support either Rangers and Celtic, as they're the two biggest clubs in the country. Don't have a problem with it. It wouldn't interest me who they support. If they wanted to tell you who they supported or asked who they supported, and they told you, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Not at all. Because I tell you why, Andy, because once you start questioning the integrity and honesty and decision making of the officials, that's where you've got a problem.
Yeah. Do you think you ever look? Did you have referees, Ali, in the Old Firm games where you kind of felt that he was more of a Rangers man than a Celtic man, or more of a Celtic man than a Rangers? No.
I might have had referees that I felt weren't giving us a fair crack at the whip with decisions.
Right.
But I never believed for a minute.
No.
It was because they was support of the opposition.
You see, fans and everyone has to realise that when you as a player you turn up for a match and you say, who's refereeing today? And they say it's whoever back in our day. it's Dermot Gallagher.
Yeah.
Right now, I know Dermot well, and he's a great lad. But there are referees that, when you're told who's refereeing today, there are many referees we go, oh, we haven't got him, you're joking. Right, be careful, lads. Keep it zipped today. Don't say nothing to this one.
But that's it's not because they support Halifax Town or
no. And this one sent me off 3 weeks ago, and do you remember he gave us 6 bookings against us? So this one, I'm telling you, he hates us from the first whistle. Get that in your head.
Yeah.
He doesn't like, so you form these opinions.
Of course you do.
So they are bound to form their own opinions. Of course they are. But the other way back.
But you're forming, or we are forming those opinions, Andy, on his ability, we think, or his lack of ability, or their lack of ability to officiate at a game. Not down. Now, his lack of ability, or their lack of ability to officiate at the game, in my opinion, should have and will have nothing to do with the team they support.
Very true, very true. I mean, keep your text coming in, please, 81089 on this, because you guys out there listening, you often come up with some really good ideas about this. Should we hear more from refs?
Absolutely.
Will it reveal too much? Do they need to keep it zip and tell us nothing?
See, we're kidding ourselves on, Andy, if we don't think they've got an opinion on the teams, on the officials, and on the games that they officiate in, because they're human beings the same as we are.
Of course they are.
I mean, you and I watch football every weekend or every blinking day of the week, right? And we love it. And we form an opinion on it.
Yep.
And we've got an opinion on the people involved in those games. So why should officials be any different? They're not any different.
No. But and I'm just intrigued to know whether or not it would just make their position untenable, impossible to do their job correctly if we knew who they support. Like, for instance, Mike Dean was a Tranmere supporter, wasn't he?
Yes.
Mike refereed in the Premier League for a long time.
Yeah.
He was often seen standing up, like, a little bit too over the top, if I'm being honest. Like, too blatant, standing there on top of someone's shoulders with his arms in the air.
It's impossible to get that excited about Tranmere. Right. That's the problem I've got with him.
Right. But going, listen, and clearly supporting his team, etc., etc.
Which I don't have a problem with.
Which you don't have a problem with. But I wonder how many fans would have a problem with it, Ali, if they knew that they're rocking up to a game, a derby match, and they know that the referee out there, and we all want him to referee the game properly. We know he's got an allegiance for one of the teams.
Andy, you're as well throwing away the keys, because they've got an allegiance. The majority of them will have an allegiance to a football team. Of course they will.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible
not to.
They grow up as wee boys.
So
these referees aren't born a 35-year-old referee.
So are you saying, as a consequence of that, we can't afford to know anything about these guys? That actually, in order for referees to referee the game properly, it has to stay stum about who they supported as a kid, where they live.
I'm open about it, Andy. It genuinely doesn't bother me that much. Right. I'm not interested where they're from. I'm not interested what team they support. If they want to tell us where they're from or and what team they support, that's fine. That's great. All I'm interested in is their ability to officiate at the particular game. That's all that interests me. It's a great topic. I mean,
it's a good topic.
I don't have any doubt we'll have plenty on it this morning, my friend. Now, former Premier League referee Dermot Gallagher joined the sports bar joined the boys last night, and he defended Coote amid unfounded suggestions that he acted without due impartiality on the pitch.
I don't think any referee would go into any game, Jamie, without being professional. I think there's such scrutiny now, not only from your bosses, and the scrutiny from the PGMO on each game is really, really immense. And to give you an example of how it is, every what they call key match incident goes to an independent panel of ex-players, and they vote on what they think the outcome should be. So that's how tough it is. The referees go through it. I mean, he's been on the league for, I think somebody said 9 years. Well, it's difficult enough to get to that level, Jamie, honestly. It's a bit like climbing a mountain. It's even more difficult to stop there. To stop there for 9 years, you've got to have good CV. Moving on from that, I would say any referee goes into a game, referees what I call 90% on instinct, in so much as you see something, you judge it on your instincts, in so much as you know the laws of the game, you have experience, and all that comes together. You don't have time to think through any backdrop of anything. You just make a decision on what you see. And if you see how quick decisions have to be made, you see that you haven't got time to think of anything other than the match itself.
Right, before we move on to this,
Go on.
I knew this stat, right? Max in London has been on.
What's he said?
This is unbelievable, right? He's sitting comfortably.
Yeah, come on.
Right, listeners, grab this one at 6:14. In the Scottish Championship this weekend, first are playing second, second are playing third, no, that's wrong, rubbish. First are playing second, third are playing fourth, fifth are playing sixth, seventh are playing eighth, and ninth are playing 10th.
Wow.
There you go.
That is a stat.
There's some just to calm everybody down in the Coote situation. Everybody take a step back and breathe. And have a think about the Scottish Championship this week. First playing second, third playing fourth, fifth playing sixth, seventh playing eighth, ninth playing 10th. And I've got many
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.